the goal isn't necessarily to feel ready. The goal is to take that leap, because otherwise, if you wait until you feel like 100% ready, that moment's never going to come.
Welcome to Twin Spin, the show hosted by us, the Neo Twins. We've shared a birthday, childhood, and now a podcast together. We talk about the stuff that's hard to name but impossible to ignore. Growth, identity, creativity, and change. It's part catch-up, part soul-searching, and all about becoming who we're meant to be, all with a twist of twin.
And we have saved this topic that we've been wanting to talk about for a while for last. Let's talk about imposter syndrome. Oh, I can already tell you're excited, man. No, don't be too excited now.
I was going to say,
it's okay.
is it that obvious?
Yeah, this is something that I know pretty much since the start of our film work, it's just something that's always just kind of been knocking in the back of our heads.
Big time.
For a while. And so now having the chance to actually talk about it more openly, looking forward to it.
Same.
It's going to be a good time. Now, for anyone who may not know what imposter syndrome is, I Googled the definition of it. So we have this for reference here. And imposter syndrome is defined as the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. Yeah.
That about sums it up.
Yeah. That's just about sums it up. And so, as we talk about imposter syndrome, I want us to go back first, way back to the beginning of when you and I first started making projects together.
Yeah.
We were insanely lucky in that when we were in high school, we had a lot of our friends who were willing to be the actors, be the crew for our films, to the point where basically every summer it actually became an expectation of sorts. That's like, oh, what are you guys making? What's the next project that you're making? What's the next thing that you're doing? And that was, we just got insanely fortunate in that circumstance.
Yeah, and they helped not just with being part of cast and crew. They would also give their houses to our productions. They would help us with catering.
Oh my God,
and getting food. They would even give some people who helped with hair and makeup would be giving their own materials to the production. So everyone kind of pitched in their own ways to the productions that we did over the years. And so, like you said, I do feel insanely lucky that we had such a supportive community of talent that we got to work with in our very early years, and that kind of also supported us and kind of pushed us to keep going at it, especially when we hit some rough patches, where we had days where we didn't think we'd make our day or stuff like that. And so definitely feel very, very fortunate and lucky to have had them.
Oh, absolutely. That was just the biggest blessing for two people who had an interest in filmmaking. And I think this was where imposter syndrome first made itself known, because I remember thinking, especially during the high school years, are we actually good at making films, or are we just passionate, about making films?
Yeah.
In my head at the time, there was a difference, that's oh, we love making films, but are people actually reacting to them the way that we would? Do we actually have any talent in doing this sort of thing?
Are people actually thinking we're good, or are they just being nice?
Yeah, or is it just is it a fun thing to do?
Yeah,
instead of just sitting at home during summer playing, you're actually collaborating with people and you're making something.
Yeah.
But even then, it's do we have a knack at this? Is this actually something that we could actually see ourselves doing? And so I think that's really where imposter syndrome really started making itself known. But we thought, okay, well, maybe if we just keep making films, the imposter syndrome's gonna go away at some point. And so we continued with the filmmaking, fortunately. And I remember, through community college and even through our time at DePaul, we kept making short films with friends who were free, and we just took our camera and we went and we made films. And for the 10 weeks that we were in film school, before we dropped out, like, we were making films and all of that. And I just remember we were able to start working with like actual budgets, and we were actually, learning about, oh yeah, sound, that's a thing, lighting, that's a thing. And starting to grow in the way that we made our films. And then when we made that found footage feature, Before I Go, and that led to our first film festival award. That we won.
I remember thinking to myself when we were submitting to festivals for Before I Go, like, if we get an award, that's when the imposter syndrome will go away. That will nip it in the bud. And then we won Best Feature at a festival. I remember getting the award shipped to us because the ceremony was in Texas, and of course we couldn't make it.
Well, we also just didn't think we were going to win.
And then we won. And they asked us for our address. They shipped the award to us. I held it in my hand for like a few minutes, and I'm like, no, it's still there. The imposter syndrome did not go away.
I mean, it was still there. And I remember, even when people started like referring to us as like professional filmmakers, it was still there. And it was like, are you though? Like, are you actually a professional filmmaker? Like, are you actually talented, or have you just gotten lucky? And people are just happen to be receptive to what you're putting out, but are you actually deserving of this thing? And I thought, well, okay, maybe what needs to happen is like we need to start getting on like that EGOT board, maybe then I will feel
finally feel like worthy, or whatever word you would use to describe that would be the case. And then you got quarter of a way to EGOT, you got an Emmy.
And it still
didn't do anything.
No, because I mean, like it was mentioned in another episode that we recorded. It's like you ride the high of that moment, and then a week passes, and then you sit there with it, and you're like, okay, but like, did I actually deserve that, or is it just I was in the right place at the right time, and literally anyone else who was in my position could have done that, and so literally even then it did not go away. It's still like, but do you feel worthy to call yourself that? It not even that could get the imposter syndrome off our backs. And then literally this latest project that we did, Final Frame, where we raised literally the most money we've ever raised. We took a giant hiatus from filmmaking. We didn't know if we were gonna come back, or if life would get in the way. And coming back, we were actually able to raise the most money we'd ever raised ever. And I thought, oh, okay, so like now, like, our fortune's turning up for us, and we're making this film. But even then, it just you still hear it. You still hear it in the back of your head, especially when you're on set, and you're like, the clock's ticking down, and you're trying your best to finish things as efficiently as possible, and you think, oh, is this going to come together in the editing room the way that I think it will? It's still there.
I think it's especially at that point where it really hit me that, like, no matter what it is we achieve, no matter what it is we win, nothing will change or solve imposter syndrome.
Well, and that's what I realized, especially through the making of Final Frame, is that every new level that you hop into, every new level that you quote unquote achieve, brings a new fear, brings a new version of the imposter syndrome. It's not like you reach one level and it's like, oh, you did that? Well, okay, I'm just gonna, piss off then. It's like, no, it just takes a different form. And then it just comes back.
Where like you achieve something, you're like, okay, I'm done.
yeah.
I finally solved it. I finally did it all. Like, no.
Oh no,
like you said,
yeah,
it's like new level unlocked.
Yeah.
Like if this were a video game. And so, like you said, with that comes all of those fears, anxieties, thoughts that just kind of reintroduce imposter syndrome to you. Just, I think, even more intensely than it was before.
Yeah, it just changes the form of it. You know, it took me until making Final Frame to really realize that, you know, there's no level that you can achieve, or there's no singular thing that you can achieve that's going to completely get rid of it. It's always going to be there no matter what you do. And unless you find a way to confront it, it's gonna be there forever.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I think it was really a matter of changing the relationship that I had with imposter syndrome, and the relationship that you have with imposter syndrome, and really just confronting it head on. You know, not trying to run away from it, or not thinking I just have to do the next thing, is acknowledging that it's there, and acknowledging your relationship with it. And by acknowledging the relationship you have with it, then you can control the way that it impacts you. You know, I think that reframing it as a sign of growth, and a sign that you are challenging yourself, I think is a really, for me, it was a really big shift in my relationship with imposter syndrome. That, you know, if you're feeling those thoughts, it means you're challenging yourself. It means you are doing something outside of your comfort zone. The feeling of, oh, but do I belong here? It's like, you do, and even if you feel like you don't, you're going to make yourself belong in this space, or on this project, or with this award, or whatever it is you're going through at that moment.
Yeah, I think along with all of that, it's also acknowledging that, like, you will stay in a constant state of growth. You know, you'll never reach a point where you'll feel like you've mastered it all. You know, because even when in the past I thought I would get to that point, along comes this new software, along comes this new way of making films, along comes this new sort of story I want to tell them. I challenge what I've, beyond anything I've ever done before. And so with that, you know, comes the acknowledgement that, like, yeah, you'll always be growing, but that's okay. You know, like, you should always be, you know, nimble and on your feet, and be willing to learn and go with the flow wherever that takes you, and just learn to dance with the chaos, you know?
Yeah, and I think also, whenever you do feel it creeping back up, I think it also can be very helpful to just address it head on, and to remind yourself of all that you've done. You know, I mean, especially, you know, for as folks who have been in, you know, the world of media for a long time, at this point. It's like, you know, we didn't just magically wind up here. You know, it's this thing led to this thing, which led to that thing, which led to this thing, which led to, you know, you just you draw out the map, and you see how it goes. And I think for anyone who doesn't feel that they belong in a certain space, you gotta kind of be your own hype man a little bit. It's like, no, like, you did this, that took work, that took effort, and you did that thing.
And you know what, dude, I think that's one thing that could be contributing to, that could have been contributing to my imposter syndrome, is the fact that I never really stopped to really, I guess, bask in,
smell the flowers.
Yes, you know? To bask in the accomplishment for so long, because I feel like I have to keep on moving to the next thing. That when I actually stop and just, like, pause for a second and think of all that I've done, it's like, well, shit. I actually have done a lot. You know? And so I think, going back to what you said, like, you know, in those moments where the imposter syndrome feels strong, really do remind yourself, like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know I can do this, and here's why. Because even in all these moments when I thought I couldn't do it, I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I have known how I would have done it, but I figured it out, and I got through it. And you can get through this next one too.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that you journal,
Yes, I do.
as well, and
Yeah.
I recall you talking a lot about how journaling and really just getting your thoughts down on paper, how that really helps you see what you've done,
Yeah.
like on physical paper.
Yeah.
It serves as a nice reminder for you.
Oh yeah. So I actually learned this idea of morning pages from a past podcast guest of ours, Erica Cruz. Erica, if you're watching, thank
Oh,
you for the
okay.
tip.
She was our very first guest.
Yes.
Nice, nice. Full circle moment there.
I
Yeah.
saw her talking about just like dumping all of your thoughts on like the first, 2 or 3 pages of, the first 2 or 3 blank pages you have every morning. And often I would just write on those pages, like any worries that I might have, any thoughts of like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can figure this out. But sure enough, as I write that stuff down, like what was once just rapid thought central in here became a lot more clear on paper what the solution was. It just makes a lot of sense that when it stays in here, naturally your mind goes in a million different directions.
Yeah.
But when you actually take the time to like write it out, you can see a lot more clearly what it is you have to do. So that's one big reason why I love journaling, and especially doing the morning pages exercise. That helps a lot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah,
thanks.
I love that you do that. Yeah, and so I think as far as sort of the main takeaways when it comes to imposter syndrome and things that I try my very best to remind myself of when it comes to imposter syndrome knocking its the ugly head on my door again, is really just reminding myself that the goal, especially when you're a filmmaker, or I mean I guess this applies to just about anything, whether you are in media or you're not, and you feel the calling to take that leap. The goal isn't necessarily to feel ready. The goal is to take that leap, because otherwise if you wait until you feel like 100% ready, that moment's never gonna come. It's never, like, you're always gonna find some reason, some excuse, and you're gonna talk yourself out of it. And imposter syndrome is definitely one of those things that tells you, no, you're not ready, you're not worthy to make that leap. And so the goal is not to feel ready. The goal is to just take the leap, to go do the thing.
It's a big reason why I'm not a huge believer of the word fearless. I believe very much in the word courageous. Courageous means like you feel the fear, you feel the anxiety, but you don't let it stop you. You still go and do the thing anyway, because like no matter what happens, I'm taking something away from it. If I fail, it's a lesson. If it's a success, cool. But like that is the price of progress. That you have to take that leap, knowing it could go one of these 2 ways, but you're willing to take that risk and you're willing to move forward despite whatever fear or anxiety you might have that comes with it.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
Yeah.
The next takeaway I want to touch on real quickly here is, if you're doing something and it scares you, you feel scared inside when you're doing it, that doesn't mean you're not worthy. It means that you care about this thing.
Yeah.
You care about what you're doing, which is how you're supposed to feel. That's how you know that it's something that is worthy of your time, something that you want to do, even if you may not feel ready for that moment. And so whenever, I remember when when we were gonna do the $20,000 raise, and someone asked, "How are you gonna raise it?" I'm like, "I don't know, but we're gonna find out." How to do it. The feeling that fear when we were about to go live with that thing. We were scared absolutely shitless. We didn't know how we were gonna do it, but it meant that we cared about the success of this thing. It meant that we cared about making this next project. And so really reframing it, that the fear that you feel is really just care. That was something that really helped me tackle that head on.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that is very much what it is, and you know, I think as long as just you know that you gave it your all,
Yeah.
you know, and of course, your all looks different every day. I used to not believe that, but in recent years, I've come to really understand that, like, giving something your best really varies by the day. But as long as you know that you gave it your all, however that looked like on a given day,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the final takeaway that I want to touch on real quickly is you also just reminding yourself that you didn't come to this point just to stop here. You know, it's not like this is going to be the moment that you just throw your hands in the air and like, well, okay, that's it. You know, that was fun, but
Yeah.
you know, and I do want to preface that, you know, I don't want to say, I don't want people to think by me saying this, I mean, you know, you shouldn't ever quit. Because there are moments in time that I think for some folks, feeling called to another passion or another path, sometimes that is the thing that you should do. If you if that voice is because something else is calling to you, I think that's very different.
Yeah.
But I think if that voice is saying stop doing, you know, XYZ thing because you're not worthy, that's a very different situation.
Yeah.
And so in that instance, I that's what I mean by you didn't come to this point just to stop here.
You didn't come this far just to come
Yeah,
this far.
exactly. You didn't come this far just to get this far.
Yeah.
You got this far for a reason, and you're not going to stop at this point.
Yeah. And I'm really happy you acknowledge that in certain cases it's okay to quit.
Yeah.
You know, whether you feel you're being called to do something else, or you just feel like, you know, the passion is going towards a whole other realm.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I think it's great to know and acknowledge when you feel like life is bringing you into another direction. Because I feel like for some people, they might have the idea of like, you know, I put so much time into this one thing.
Yeah.
That, like,
was it like the sunk cost fallacy? Yeah.
That like I have to keep up with it, and it's like, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think I agree with that at all. That, like, you know, I think you're allowed to change your mind. You know, you should go to where your heart is calling you to do, and if it's calling you to go somewhere else, okay, you know,
exactly,
that's okay.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if it's because it serves your life best, that's one thing. But if it's because you don't feel like you belong, very different thing. And so, yeah, you know, I feel like these three takeaways have really helped us not completely shut out imposter syndrome, but more so know how to navigate it when it decides to show its face.
Yep.
And kind of dance with it, you know, and not just completely shut it away, because that never works.
No.
And instead just really learn to, like you said, dance with the chaos and really address it head on and know how to work your way around it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, now that we have talked about imposter syndrome,
Yes.
seeing as this is the final episode of this season, we thought that we would just sort of change it up a little bit and just do some rapid fire questions.
Yes.
To wrap up this episode and
Yeah.
season 2 as a whole.
Yes. Do a little fun rapid fire lightning round twin Q&A. And I will be asking you 5 questions first, and then you'll be reciprocating and asking me 5 questions. But
Okay.
yeah, when I ask the question, just tell me the first thing that comes to mind. I might ask a bit of a follow-up as to why you said an answer, but I just want to see where it goes.
Okay. All right.
Ready?
Hit me with them.
All right.
Yeah.
Favorite day of the week?
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Okay. Why Sunday?
Still the weekend, but it tends to be like the calmer day of the weekend.
Okay, that's fair.
It's Friday, you have plans. Saturday, you have plans. Sunday, usually you just like exist.
Yeah.
And you know, relax. That's usually when I try to watch a movie or a show and catch up on that side of things.
Nice.
So still the weekend, not quite Monday yet, but it's usually the more relaxing day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite snack?
Oh, this is a good one. God, I feel like it's changed so many times over the past few years. But as of right now, in this moment, goldfish.
Okay, I did not expect you to say that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Winter or fall?
Fall.
Spring or summer?
Summer.
Summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you know summer's my favorite season.
Well, yeah, but like, our birthday falls in the spring, so I thought you might have said spring.
No,
but okay.
I'm a summer person all the way.
Okay. And last question, when were you the most nervous?
Probably after I won the Emmy, and I realized I had to talk in front of everybody because I didn't think I did think I was going to win, so I was like, I don't have to worry about that. And then I won. I was like, I've done fuck, So
and you didn't have like a note card prepared that you didn't even take out.
I threw it out. I was like, I'm going to speak from the heart.
I remember when you first came back to the table, you were like, "Did I speak English? Like, what?
Yeah, no.
Did I speak coherently?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember giving the speech.
Yeah,
it was literally like an out of body experience.
Yeah,
it felt like.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Your turn.
My turn.
All right.
Bring it on.
Question 1: texting or talking?
Only because texting now also allows for voice memos with transcripts. I'm going to say texting.
Oh my God. That's such a cop out. Okay, fine. Would you want to live forever?
No.
Okay.
I would not.
Neither would I. What does a person need to be happy?
Ooh, that's a deep question for a lightning round Q&A. Wow, we're going.
You chose the question, man.
Yeah, I know. I just think, if we're being honest, I didn't think I was going to be the one to answer this question.
Oh, okay.
What is a? Can you repeat one more time?
What does a person need to be happy?
Connection.
I agree with that.
That's what I'd say.
Favorite type of muffin?
Ooh. Not double chocolate chip, but a regular chocolate chip muffin.
Balanced.
Yes.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Final question. What's the maximum amount of spritzes of perfume or cologne before it's too much?
I would say 4 or 5.
Okay. Yeah. See, I already think that's too much.
Yeah.
But, okay. Interesting.
Well, because I do like kind of like light. I don't go like hardcore like spritz. I'm like, like a few light ones to start it off.
Oh, I didn't realize the ferocity of the spritz was also being taken into account here.
Yeah, for me, there's a certain way that I like to do it.
Okay.
But how much would you do this?
Like 2 or 3 usually does it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do like strong spritzes. And then I like distribute.
Oh yeah, you also do like the thing where like you put it on your wrist and you do this.
Yeah.
And
you distribute the spritzes.
Yeah, you got, exactly.
That usually is like the perfect amount for me.
All spritzes, kind of spread out evenly.
Yeah. For me, it's like there's a scent. I'm not drowning people in my scent.
Yeah.
I'm like on an elevator, for example.
Yeah. Did you ever hear of like the spritz method of like you spray it in front of you and then like you walk in it?
Isn't that from Queer Eye?
I think it was from Queer Eye.
Spray, delay, walk away. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Okay. All right.
Very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Learned something new about you today.
And you.
Yeah.
So, we appreciate you so much for being here for this episode of Twin Spin. If something resonated with you, pass it along to someone else who might need it too. And if you're navigating something big in life right now, just know you're not alone. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next spin.